Hi, my name's Amy Andrew. I'm a professional boxer. I'm mum to a 2-year-old. I'm married to another professional boxer, and I'm one of the owners to this gym here, Rival Boxing Gym, King's Cross. We have some really interesting people that come along to the gym. Lots of people working here who are involved in boxing or MMA, and so we wanted to find out a little bit more about kind of the background to being involved in boxing and martial arts. So someone basically pays you to fight them and lose.
But you look at MMA, a lot of people records, they don't have undefeated records. Even your best have still got blemishes in their records. They don't care, do they? They'll fight whoever. As boxing, you know. Every weekend, at one point, I fought 4 times in 1 month. Obviously, the rules are don't get stopped and don't get cut. Like I said, I've seen fights. I think that journeyman's won it. Even myself going in fights, I've nicked that. And then they're calling out basically a whitewash.
Yeah. Hi, my name's Amy Andrew. I'm here at Rival Boxing Gym, King's Cross, with Jules, who is an absolute hero and teaches our amateurs. So he's part of our team at Rival and is just incredible with all the kids and does loads of amazing things. But mostly, I'm really interested in talking to Jules because he was a professional boxer for a long time. So tell me more about yourself. How did you get into boxing?
How did I get into boxing? So, I got into boxing when I was very young. Started in St Pancras, used to be called the Kronk, but I only went for a little bit. I think I was about 7 or 8. Maybe went for a month, then I stopped. And then I'm brought up on the Cali. My mum lives around the corner in the Bemerton estate. So then I was about 14, 15. I thought I want to start something like a combat, not into martial arts. And I found the Times Amateur Boxing Club around the corner.
Yeah.
So I started going there, was dedicated, going there all the time. And then eventually I got carded as an amateur and I boxed for the Times ABC and I done well, I was getting busy. I got into the Haringey Box Cup. I won the Haringey Box Cup.
Congratulations.
So yeah. I was active as an amateur, and I loved boxing. I loved it, and and then eventually after that, I joined the military. I was in the British Army because of my boxing, the fitness. I was in the army. I actually made an army boxing team.
Did you really?
But because it was too early in my military career, my regiment stopped me from pursuing it because I didn't do my career course, which was I was in artillery. I had to learn how to do Rapier missiles. So then, kind of went into the army life of getting on the old going out on the weekends. The boxing kind of went out. I mean, I've done a few unlicensed
equally as
fights.
Fun.
Yeah, equally as fun. But then I had a few unlicensed white collar fights in between.
Yeah.
Before eventually coming out and turning over.
Okay, cool. And so who did you turn professional with?
So originally I went with Steve Goodwin.
Cool.
Originally I went in as a prospect. So, going to be a champion, all that kind of caper. But obviously ticket sales, but I thought it'd be all right. But I didn't realise how hard it is.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So I think a lot of people don't understand that professional boxers primarily are really broke. And have to sell tickets.
Yeah.
And even if you sell tickets, like, you still don't get very much money. You certainly don't get enough money to cover your costs of training and stuff. So can you talk me through how it works with ticket sales? Because just a lot of people don't really know.
So I think at the time with Goodwin on the deal was you had to sell 100 tickets. So you got to pay the journeyman, the opponent. You got to pay Mr. Goodwin, the manager, and your trainer.
Yeah.
And then you're left with whatever.
And the house,
And the house.
Or is that?
I believe he just took a lump sum or whatever. So I remember paying the manager's fee, which was whatever, and maybe paid the house with that.
Yeah.
Then the trainer.
Yeah.
And then obviously,
the
and
opponent.
then I was left with 50 quid.
Yeah, that's the thing. And then obviously your costs of being a professional boxer, like where you have to train, you have to do S&C, you have to pay gym fees, all this sort of stuff.
Exactly. It's hard. It's hard.
I've actually paid 4 fights many times out of my own pocket. Like I haven't even sold, because 100 tickets is a lot of tickets.
It is a lot of tickets, yeah.
Especially if you do it more than once. Because like maybe people, because they're like 50 quid.
Yeah.
At least. Sometimes like 75, 100.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah. And especially like people doing that again and again. And who really likes boxing? Not that many people.
No, exactly,
It's like you have to get your mates to come and then it's just hard to...
Yeah, and I'm sure with the prospects, the first fight, they could probably sell a lot of tickets. But like you said, the second and third, fourth, and you know what people are like. So...
So
Yeah.
how it works is that you are the prospect. So
Yep.
you'll kind of, and then you basically pay someone who's a journeyman,
Yep.
or sometimes it's a B-side, which is a bit different, isn't it? That like they just don't sell tickets and it's a 50-50, but is that right? Or is...
So when I had my first fight, and then I went, you know what, I want to become a journeyman. It was all, I was always in the away corner.
Yeah.
I always just got straight money basically.
Okay.
And you're busy. Obviously, the
Yeah.
rules are don't get stopped and don't get cut. You know,
So someone basically pays you to fight them
fight them. Yeah.
and lose.
Basically, yeah, you're
Yeah.
basically a stepping stone, or you play the kind of the game. I have caused a few upsets, you know, which
Nice.
is
Have
always
to keep
nice to
people
do.
on their toes.
I always keep people on their toes.
Yeah.
I actually got journeyman. I was in Journeyman of the Year in Boxing Magazine.
That's incredible.
Yes. What year was it? I think it must have been 2017, 2017 or 18. One of them 2 years, because that's when I was really active, and I was every fight. I always gave him a scrap. I actually went to win. And it was quite hard. That's what's hard work being a journeyman. Because early in my journeyman career, I went in there to win, so I trained hard. And a lot of my fights, I thought I've nicked that. And a few people told me, yeah, you've nicked that, but you know, it's
you're
the
the
politics
B-side.
of professional boxing. Sometimes you got to knock them out. But hey ho, it is what it is.
So you took the money, but you still went to win.
I went to win, yeah, in my early journeyman fights. I went in there, and everyone said, a lot of prospects got to me, yeah, you're one of the hardest fighters I had, because you know I've got a good amateur pedigree. You know, early on in my career, when I trained hard, I went in there to win. Yeah.
Yeah, but then I thought that if you like went in to win, that people didn't book you again.
That does happen as well. Yes,
Okay.
exactly. So if you start knocking people out, then yeah, you don't get booked, or you get booked for harder opponents on like, you know, your Matchrooms and your Frank Queensbury and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. So how often would you go out as a journeyman?
Pretty much. Well, like to play the game.
Yeah.
So after like my first 10, after that, pretty much all the time.
Like every weekend.
Every weekend, at one point I fought 4 times in 1 month.
Nice.
And that was before Christmas, so I had a good Christmas.
Okay,
I remember
cool.
that. Yeah.
Do you mind me asking how much journeymen get paid usually? Is it per round, or is it, does
So
it depend on the opponent?
you get a text and you get called, it'd be like, let's say, a 4-rounder used to be 1,200.
Not
And
bad.
then obviously pay your expenses out of that.
Yeah.
So you're walking away with still about £900 or whatever. And then a 6-rounder, 1,800.
Yeah.
But it's when later on in my career, so when the last box was last year, was it? Last year, I think was my last, or the year before. It went up. So 4-rounders, you're getting about 14 to 15. But then it depends where you are. You get expenses and stuff like that. So I used to go up north. I've been Belfast, Scotland.
Yeah.
You know, you get expenses and stuff like that.
Cool. So they pay for you to go out there in your hotels and stuff like that.
Yeah. And you can, your manager, you can talk to him, can, you know, sort out a deal if you want an extra bit of quid or whatever,
Nice.
and, you know, bits and pieces. So
Yeah, cool. And I feel like it'd be really fun because you get to box, because I love professional boxing, but sometimes the stress of selling tickets and, you know, all of that stuff is just takes over so much. That sometimes it takes away the enjoyment. So you get to just have fun in the ring.
You get to have fun, and you know what? Yeah, it's quite fun because it's got all these northern towns. Everyone's booing you, but I used to love it. You know, and I used to have a little trademark. I used to stick my tongue out. Or, you know, you have a laugh. Like it's like a job, Some fights were hard work, and I didn't really want to be in there. But some fights, I would love it. I'd be moving around the ring, just enjoying it, having a right laugh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was good fun.
Yeah.
When I was one of my old when I had a journeyman trainer, because the other thing about a journeyman, a lot of journeymen are by themselves, or they, you know, because it's hard to get trainers. A lot of your main pro trainers don't want to get involved with journeymen.
Why? They'd get loads of money, wouldn't
I know,
they?
but
Or do you not pay them?
They want the prospect, don't they?
Okay.
They want, you know, like. But then you do get some journeyman trainers. You do, but yeah, exactly. They work out better because they're busy all the time.
Yeah.
And it's better to have one because there's dangerous fights out there.
Yeah.
And when I'm left my own device, I've seen the money that I'm getting. I thought I'm not looked into the fighter.
Yeah.
And I've come unstuck a few times when I shouldn't have been in with that person.
Yeah.
And weight issues. I should. You know, I've struggled with living the life with food and stuff. So I was always fighting at a weight I shouldn't really be at.
Yeah.
They're always bigger than me.
Yeah.
But you know, I didn't really care as long as I moved around the ring and.
Yeah. So are there any, so talking about that, because that's one of the things I wanted to ask you really was, you know, do you ever turn down fights, or are there some people that you'd ask for more money with, or how does it work?
Yeah. So if I get a fight and then if I know he's dangerous, and I got a few other fights booked in,
Yeah.
I won't have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you get stopped, you can't box for a month
I
or
can't
so.
box for 28 days, yes.
Yeah.
Or if he's a fighter on the zones or Queensbury,
Yeah.
you're going to get more money. So you
Yeah.
don't really mind. If
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know he's
yeah.
going to stop you, but
Yeah.
it's like a double purse from a normal fight, then you
Yeah.
can kind of live with it.
Yeah. And have you ever like been? It sounds a bit dangerous. Is it?
It can be. So
Yeah.
that's a good question, actually, because if you go in there gung-ho and looking for a scrap, you ain't going to last long.
Yeah.
I mean, a few times I've done that, but then if you're a clever journeyman, you just don't get involved. I mean, you look at some like Christian Lane. I think he had about 300. He broke the record. If you watch his fights, he don't get touched. Jordan Grenham, another one.
Yeah.
They go in and they make it so easy.
Yeah.
They go in there and it's just a walk in the park for
Yeah.
them. Because at the end of the day, you got to look after this.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
if you're having over 100 fights and that,
Yeah.
and you're getting in there and you're having tear-ups all the time,
Yeah.
it's not
Because
going
they're
to end well.
small gloves and
Small
it's
gloves,
yeah.
sadly. And you know, we got to look after number one, isn't it? You got to look after yourself. So, yeah.
Because I think there's like a couple of people that I know who are journeymen, but it's funny because me and Newman were on our way to a fight once to watch, and one of the guys that was fighting, he's journeyman, and we like stopped and he was like running across the road from the chippy, smoking.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is the life.
Yeah,
why are we living this like really whatever? And they're just like having fun and stuff.
Yeah,
But yeah, obviously it's dangerous.
Yeah,
so.
it is dangerous. I mean, I didn't even. I used to have cigarettes before, and I tell you what, a smoke after a fight was a lovely one as well.
But I
yeah.
think as well, like obviously it makes it sound like because we went to a fight maybe last year, and one of the mums was like, "This is so boring. Like, what a boring event. Why is everybody winning that you think's going to win?"
Yeah.
And so sometimes I feel like it's really good because, like, I guess for boxers, a journeyman is actually that it's not just to win or lose for your record; it's to help people
progress.
develop as
Yeah.
So being in the ring and boxing as a professional boxer, you have to put on a performance.
Yeah.
You have to make it look good. So if you can only really learn your trade if you're in with people who are more experienced.
Yeah.
And kind of like learning how to fight.
Yeah.
You know, for a thing.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a place for you know, to make sure that you're going in and you're performing and learning how to perform.
Course.
But it's also like, is it boring for like spectators if you have this like?
I suppose you know what, it probably is boring for spectators. I mean, even though I'm watching fights and but you know what the outcome's going to be. But I can't blame the journeyman or the away fighter because he's in there, he's surviving, he's getting his money, and he's probably fighting a week later.
Yeah.
So you know what, if he's making it boring, good luck to him. Because I'd be the same if I was in there. I don't care what the crowd think. I care about myself and what I'm getting after. So, but I get it from a spectator's point of view. You know.
Are there any other sports that they have this sort of thing?
I don't think there is. I mean, I know in MMA and all that there isn't. They don't have that. But you look at MMA, a lot of people records. They don't have undefeated records. Even your best have still got blemishes in their records. So they don't care, do they? They'll fight whoever. As boxing, you know.
Yeah.
It's all there. You want that.
Do you think it's that sort of like the fact that everyone's obsessed with this undefeated record thing?
Yeah,
maybe.
Maybe because if you look at like maybe like the early like 90s and stuff like that, they used to have journeymen. But I think their fights were a lot more game.
Yeah.
Even the 80s, the journeyman, you'd go there and have it a lot more. But I think maybe the scoring would be a bit more fairer as well.
Yeah.
As, like I said, I've seen fights, but I think that journeyman's won it. Even myself going in a fight, I've nicked that. And then they're calling out, what is it, 30, 39, 36, what is it? I'm terrible with the boxing scorecards, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean? Basically a whitewash.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, nah, he definitely nicked a couple of rounds. But anyway, I don't know. But, you know, it is what it is.
And I was talking to Freddie Warren, who's down here as well. He was telling me about a few times when, because there always seems to me to be this massive like rush before there's a fight, like, oh, we don't have an opponent, oh, we do have an opponent, like this person's dropped out. And everyone seems to appear from like thin air, like last minute. So you say you're booked in, but like, I don't, like, do you sometimes get last minute call-ups and stuff?
I've had a call it on a day.
Yeah.
And obviously you can do a little haggle, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Even better. And then he said, you know, sometimes, like, for example, the boxer that came in was being really annoying. And so they were just like, oh, whatever, and said to the journeyman, make sure you beat him and stuff like that. Do you have that much?
Yeah, of course. There's you get all that, you know, and they don't like him, he's flash, or thinks he's, you know what I mean, put him a peg or two, whatever.
Cool.
Don't take it too easy on him. You do get that. And you know what I like being in the journeyman? You go in the journeyman's changing room, it's a laugh.
Okay.
if you're with other boys like on the circuit, I mean, I don't know what it's like now, but I remember there was a time you had a few of us. You like Curtis Gagano, he was a character. Name a few others, that Christian Lane. You had loads of others. Poochie as well was a famous journeyman. All had a laugh in the changing rooms, you know. And you're going, oh no, the prospects, it's all deadly serious, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's tense.
Yeah.
And all the boys downstairs were all talking about it. After the fights, we go in the booze and have a couple of pints, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah. How come you decided to retire?
You know what? I haven't got it in me no more.
You like chips too much?
Yeah, I like chips too much. Exactly. I ain't got it in me no more. I'm happy. I'm happy coaching and helping out. You know, and I'm learning other bits. And so yeah. And you know what? Believe it or not, it's quite it stresses me out a lot. You know, like the build up.
Yeah.
It build up. I can't deal with it no more.
Yeah,
I like to just be chilled out. I don't need the stress, basically. And I can't live. I don't do all like the smoking or drinking no more.
Yeah.
But the eating, I can't do it.
Well, you don't look like you do the eating.
I know, but
yeah.
even though I'm skinny anyway, and then I got to lose more weight, it's quite hard work.
Yeah, it's definitely like the least enjoyable thing about boxing, isn't it?
It's horrible. Even like prospect, dieting is horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah.
You
so
know?
if you have to do it every week, then
every week, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm not chasing a pound note and all that, you know. So I'm all right. I'm good.
Yeah. And now it seems like they've changed a lot of the rules around. I don't know if you know too much about it, but before I think you could be a journey person if you've never if you've just come from like white collar or this or that, but you have to now do a certain number of amateur fights.
Okay.
Obviously that didn't impact you because you did it anyway, but I think they're struggling to find people. Do you know much about that?
I mean,
maybe you should go back in and put up your rates.
I have heard they're struggling with journeymen.
Yeah.
Because I remember back in the heyday, you had loads of like famous journeymen.
Yeah.
From Britain.
Yeah.
You know, you had your Christian Lates, Curtis Gaganos, Poochie. You got Willie Warburton, who was an upsetter.
Yeah.
Of like, I think he upset a few top prospects on matchroom shows and all that. But like now, you got a lot of lads from Bulgaria and Romania.
Yeah.
They're bringing in, but I don't know what they're like now with that. Are they still? Because I've heard they're getting funny with them coming over now as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's a lot tighter in terms of like obviously it needs. Where you are boxing every week, there has to be safety things. If someone's not capable of doing that, then with girls, it's different because there's like not that many girls, whereas there seems to be obviously there's loads of guys that box, whereas all the girls are like raking it in because there's a few journey women, but they're definitely like coming to win most of the time. There's not that many people that I don't think there's any like experienced journey women that are out there doing like a job like you would do, you know. I think most people just come in who aren't good enough to win maybe, or but they can just ask for so much more because there's barely any of them, so you'll always see the same people. And then but because I was like, how much money do they make? Maybe this is my new but cool. Well, I think it's so interesting because I think there's a lot of things about boxing that people don't always understand. Like obviously the whole thing is that it's a performance and people come along and it's a spectator sport. But I think there's a lot of things like journey people that isn't something that is like generally known.
Yeah, unless you're right, because unless you're into your boxing, like when I used to go to the shows, all the people of the board know who you are. The journeyman, you're going, oh, what's happening, Jules? Boom, boom. You're well liked because you're out all the time. They see you. So it is. But in that world, everyone knows what a journeyman's about and they respect you. But sometimes it can be hard because you go at your normal average Joe. Oh, you're pro boxer. What's your record? And you tell them, oh, you must be crap then, aren't you? But they don't know. You know what I mean? But whatever. I don't take no notice of it anymore because they don't know what it's about. They can't get in there. But it can be hard like that sometimes,
Yeah. What is your record?
My record is 32 fights, 30 losses, 2 wins.
That's congratulations.
Thank you.
That's wicked. 32 fights is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
So
Well, thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate
Amy, thanks
it.
for having me.
Obviously doing all the stuff you are doing with our amateur kids. Really grateful. So
no worries. Thank you, Amy.